This is Twit.
iBeacon, this is an example of a technology that Apple owns. Bluetooth LE is, of course, not Apple-specific, but they just knocked it out of the park with iBeacon. And I hope it's not another one of those things where Apple just has this brilliant thing that they never capitalize on it. CES is doing an iBeacon scavenger hunt. Now, this would be one reason, I think, to go to CES. Using Apple's iBeacon, you'd have to use the CES mobile app. I guess it says you could use it on Android. And then they're using the iBeacon development kit from Radius Networks and Texas Instruments sensor tags. And then you wander around the floor. And I guess you'll be notified as you get closer, and you'll add to your book of stamps or something. Macy's has already got plans for iBeacons. Qualcomm is doing their own iBeacon-like thing. They're calling it, I don't know what they're calling it, something else, not iBeacon. Apple owns this, though, because every Apple device since the 4S is a beaconer as well as a beacon-y.
Yeah, so the beacon technology, it's interesting. I did a lot of research on it when I saw it on sort of Apple's slide when they were previewing iOS 7. And it's based off of something that's been built into Bluetooth Smart and is available to, I think, quite a lot of devices that are using sort of the LE technology. And what Apple's really done is kind of build a framework for it that allows developers to tap into that technology and use LE devices as basically as iBeacons. It's very hard to kind of explain the technology because it's still so it's in vitro almost. It's very new and people aren't really sure what to use it for other than, oh, well, maybe we'll put it in malls and it'll allow people to find their favorite stores or get, apprised of deals, kind of like what Passbook does for like Starbucks or something like that. But there could be, there are a lot more ways to use this, I think, rather than just your average, put it in a store window and hope that it attracts new customers.
A company called InMarkets using it for coupons, so that So this guy said, I want to get pasta sauce. Oops, and he did, but he goes by a rack in a store and it says, "Hey, here's a coupon." It's for something that's already on your shopping list if you use their shopping list app, things like that. I think that's, I agree. Of course, you're going to first see the e-commerce or the, not e-commerce, real world commerce applications of this. But there's so much potential here. And I just hope Apple can capitalize on this, frankly.
The problem is that this is a technology that ultimately isn't in Apple's hands, in my opinion. The problem here is this is in the hands of developers and marketers and the people implementing it. It's an execution problem. And we've seen this issue with QR codes and NFC on other devices and things like that. And so I think those technologies live and die by how they are used by people, and it can be either really useful and great and life-changing, or it can end up being really annoying and just turn consumers off. So, this year is going to prove whether or not, this is a technology that's going to fly with end users and consumers. So far, there's been good buzz, but I think it's because it's the new whiz-bang thing. We had a lot of that with NFC a year, 2 years ago, and where did that end up? It really didn't go very far.
Well, Apple, though, does have some control of it because they can be the market maker, in effect, but they have to reach out to all these people and create alliances and create deals.
And unfortunately for me, I was not impressed by Apple's first own foray into iBeacons, if you've been into, because they have them in the Apple retail stores, and if you've gone in to use that system, I went to try it out, I think the Friday after it was released. I haven't been back to see if they've improved things, but I was generally, not impressed with the application of it. It wasn't that the technology wasn't cool. It's just that they only had it in the accessories area. It kind of alerted me multiple times when I had already seen the same alert, got a little bit annoying. They have to be smarter about how they implement it, and especially in their own retail stores, if they're showing off the technology and trying to get others to buy into it and trying to get consumers to accept it, they have a real opportunity, and I don't think they fully executed on that. Again, I don't know if they were just rushing it out to get it out there for the holiday season or what. But I think time's going to tell on the whole iBeacon thing.
Serenity, I'm impressed because We all saw that slide, and you picked up on it. And you said, hey.
Well, so one of my hobbies at Macworld is going through those little tiny slides and figuring out what every single thing relates to that's public knowledge. And then whipping them up into like articles on like 27 things that Apple may have noted very smallly in the keynote, but that are actually potentially really cool.
Good hobby.
So yeah, it's really fun. You know, it gets me away from the just having to write up all of the press releases. It's called reporting.
It's called enterprise journalism. Good.
Nah.
I'm impressed. So,
but yeah.
So what's your conclusion? Has Apple is Apple doing what it needs to do to make iBeacon what it could be, or will they? TBD, I think.
Honestly, we, as you were saying, we really just haven't seen a lot of it yet. And I would like to see more of what Apple's planning beyond sort of limited retail integration. It's like Passbook's early days in, what was that, as iOS 6?
But there's an example of something that just really hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there are some nice things. You know what? I really enjoy being able to fly Virgin America and not take out a boarding pass. Like, it's little simple pleasures like that. But the Starbucks card, I don't really find myself using that all that much. And the other integrations, I've been kind of bored by. So, again, does Apple have enough time to be pursuing all of these little things? And will they give it the time that it deserves? We just don't know.
I think we can guess. Sad to say.
Unfortunately, history sort of dictates.
I don't want to think that way.
Wasn't FaceTime supposed to be an open standard
I don't want to
years ago?
I don't want to think that way. I really don't. Hey, we're having some fun. It's so nice to have you, Serenity Caldwell. Great to talk to you again. Every time you're on, I'm thinking, God, I should have her on more often. Please come back more often.